My name is John Hervey. Thanks for tuning in to episode 4 of Creating Your Own Comic Book. Thus far, we've brainstormed and world built. So hopefully now you've got an amazing world. If so, this is a great news, but an amazing world does not an amazing comic book make. While great sequences are always fun, the best stories are not just about interesting series of events. You ever read a really cool action sequence but felt apathetic towards the characters in the story? It really makes the story feel flat, doesn't it? That's because stories are about characters. So if the audience doesn't care about the characters, how can they find the story compelling? Great character development draws readers in by giving them well-developed personalities which resonate with the reader. By resonate, I don't necessarily mean find commonality with. Some of the most impactful and intriguing characters I've read are nothing like me, and sometimes they don't reflect characteristics that I like, but they are developed in a manner that is consistent and true to who they are, which makes them resonate. Or they may elicit a feeling of dissonance that comes from a strong sense of negative emotion that germinates from something real, like the Governor does for me in the Walking Dead comics. There are cheap ways to try and manufacture these emotions, but they often result less in dissonance and more in repulsion that is irredeemable and devastating to a property. I'm sure you have your own examples of this. Character development is the process of building a unique, three-dimensional persona with depth, personality, and clear motivations. Character development isn't a one-and-done thing either. What I mean by that is characters will start in one place and undergo development over the course of a story as a result of actions, theirs and those around them, and experiences causing them to grow or regress to another place. All great stories, they have what I'd say is a compelling plot, and they also have great characters. So does plot or characters come first? The answer is yes. Character and plot are intrinsically tied because a person's trajectory is determined by what they do and what happens to them. Oftentimes, we start by developing character attributes like abilities and proclivities, but it takes a lot more to develop a character than making a brooding tough guy with cool powers. You have to determine the character's raison d'etre. Even characters that are searching for purpose have anchor points. They have convictions born out of traumas or idealism that underlie the character and give them direction. Without a clear sense of who a character is, what they value, and what they're afraid of, the reader will be unable to appreciate the significance of your events, and your story will have no impact. Fictional characters come to life when, like real people, they have obsessions, histories, hobbies, pets, ruminations, deviations, and the like. These characters and these characteristics, they lay the groundwork for how a character acts or reacts to and feels about the things that happen to them. When you understand these aspects of your character, you're equipped to understand how they may react under the pressures of events they encounter, which helps your story write itself in a coherent fashion. So, while you'll have various characters in your comic with different motivations and objectives, your main character's goal sets the stakes for your story. It doesn't mean, it doesn't really matter whether your story stakes are big or small, as long as they matter deeply to your protagonist. Your character doesn't have to save the world. Perhaps they're just trying to save their family from an eviction or fighting to keep their business from going bankrupt. Your job is to establish what's important to your character. Ideally, it's something that your audience can relate to, and help the reader imagine what might happen if they lose that important thing. So now it's time to get those brain cells of yours firing to take your characters and make them three-dimensional personas that readers will care about and want to feel vested in. Next session, we'll take an even deeper dive into protagonists, antagonists, and supporting characters. Just as an aside, a number of people have asked me about the beats in my videos. If you're looking for great beats tailored for your needs at a reasonable price, reach out to my ace, Scott Thrill. You can find him on Instagram and Twitter at Scott Thrill. He'll hook you up. So thanks for joining me for this session on characters. Please grow with me by subscribing to the Beyond Time YouTube channel and registering at BeyondTimeComics.com, where you can have full access to the Beyond Time library of comic books. So until next time, use your powers for good. Purpose to be a creator, not a destroyer, as we walk this path together. Boundless imagination.